happy but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
Welcome again. I don't know if people are just, on their Sunday couch watching all these games back to back. You should be, because we've had some exciting games on the stream. So, welcome to the final. Just to orient you, we have Quick Orange in dark, and we have the Prime Pandas in purple, lavender. I don't know what you call that.
Lavender's lovely.
But yeah, so it's our first time seeing Prime Pandas up on stream. They are the defending national champions. They came up here last year, well, in Oshawa, Ontario, and they learned how to play fours. They don't play a lot of fours out in BC. They don't even have a lot of indoor facilities, so this is going to be new for them. They've really ran through this tournament, except they did meet this team in pool play, and it was a back and forth with just a 1-point win for Pandas. So they're already evenly matched. You know that coaches have made adjustments. We have a whole host of TC players here on the Prime Pandas side. It doesn't even make sense to list all of them, but just know TC coaches Edward Guo and TC women's coach Victoria Lamb have really prepared the squad here for the final. And what about Quick Orange here, Rose? Sorry. I'm also commentating with Rose, if you guys didn't know. But now you do.
And I'm commentating with Devin. So, Quick Orange, on a déjà vu dans le stream juste avant, dans la semi-finale. C'est une équipe qui a aussi quelques joueurs de Team Canada. On a Maëlys la chasseur. On a Ellie Ngo-Dway, excuse-moi. Ngo-Dway. And la dernière fois, on a vu que c'est une équipe qui joue très bien, très rapide avec le disque. C'est une équipe qui joue beaucoup de 4 contre 4. C'est le circuit ici à Québec. Les juniors sont introduits souvent à l'Ultimate en jouant à l'intérieur à 4 contre 4. Donc, ils sont habitués à ce grandeur de terrain. Et on n'a pas l'occasion, comme les équipes de BC, de jouer à l'extérieur tout le temps. Donc, on a forcé de développer les juniors à l'intérieur pour leur offrir l'occasion de développer les jeux tout au long de l'année au lieu de seulement pendant les mois où on peut être à l'extérieur. Donc, j'ai très hâte de voir la bataille entre ces deux équipes. Et c'est leur septième match du week-end. Donc,
CCM.
Et on va voir which team is going to have the mental toughness to pull through.
Yeah,
Physical, I'm not so concerned with these guys. They've got it.
Yes, you make a great point here. This is their 6th match of the weekend. And, it's going to be an exciting game. And we're going to get to see a lot of Canada's up-and-coming talent here come through in this 4-on-4 series. So, we have Quick Orange starting out on O, La Rochelle and Roberge, La Chancellor and Godin for the Orange side. And we'll get to know the Panda players. So we have Ing Young Lim setting up the mark here for hot layout T by
Tish.
By Sai there. And it looks like Godin calling a foul. A lot of contact there on the bid.
There was a lot of contact. She certainly got to the disc first. The question is, could she have gotten to the disc without taking out her player? Pretty tough. If it was a whiff-diff ruling, it would be considered a foul.
Yes, and that's the recognition that a lot of players have. You can get to the disc first, but you can't have to go through your player's body to get there first, even if the contact comes after, right? You're just all about taking safe passes to the disc. And it looks like it's a contested foul, so we're going to go back there. So we have La Rochelle helping to quarterback this team, getting Lanchausseur involved, and a lot of hot pressure from these prime defenders. That was Young over there with the tight pressure on La Chaussure. So La Rochelle over there getting the pass from Robert. A nice OI flick. And Godin reeling it in for the first hold from Quick Orange. And you see the junior side from Quebec erupting with excitement.
C'est l'énergie qu'on voit avec les deux équipes. C'est clair que c'est les juniors. Il y a beaucoup d'émotions, il y a beaucoup de réactions sur le sideline. Mais je suis très impressionnée par la discussion qu'on a vue avec le faute. Right, c'est respectueux, c'est bien fait.
All right, Wong, over to Yuan here. You have Prime Pandas working it very quickly here. Yuan looking for, I think that was Ma at the front. Quick little bobble here, just trying to shove it in a little too quickly. Pause.
De La Chasseur.
All right, La Chasseur.
Looking for somebody open. And just un peu trop bas pour Leclerc.
Just a little too low for Leclerc there. Urine picking up, right to move quickly. Over to Wong. And Quick Orange doing a great job of pushing Prime Pandas outside of the end zone, but finding the around backhand there to Sito Fung. You saw La Chaussure with the bid there to try to stop it.
It's not unexpected to see La Chasseur making those bids. She seems to do them without any respect for her body.
Yes, definitely. And now we have a Ngo Dwi picking up the disc for Quick Orange, hoping to get them back with another hold. So, Ngo Dwi, great communication there by La Rochelle to tell her where she wanted to go. La Chaussure getting this here on the close side. Seems like a lot of pressure from Prime. A hammer there to Couturier, catching a face guarding Yuan. Sorry, a face guarding Tian. And it looks like a quick 7-cut La Rochelle to La Chaussure. Another hold for Quick Orange, but so much pressure coming from the Panda side.
Mais oui, et c'est juste un point. Je suis vraiment contente avec La Chasseur qu'elle a eu la patience pour lancer le disque à quelqu'un ouvert. Mais juste un point, comme coach, si jamais je suis coach pour cette équipe ou pour les juniors, c'est un bon moment aussi de regarder pour les dumps. Elle a eu 2 personnes ouvertes, mais elle a eu un bon lancer.
All right, so quick Wong to Yuan and a quick air bounce backhand to Ma. Panda's back in the board.
That's it. Those quick and smart throws, smart cuts, using that break side, using precision throws from Prime.
So, and Ngo Dwi. Oh my gosh, great grab by Roberts there. Over to Couturier. You can talk about the pace of the Panda side, but Quick Orange isn't moving too slow either. And Ngo Dwi here on the close sidelines. Hammer to Godin. Just a little too high and far. But great look, right?
It really was. I think looking for that break side option has been working a lot for both teams. I can expect both teams to continue doing that. So I don't know if this is a foul on the cut or
it looks like Robert's just calling a foul there on number 45 man. So the disc will go back to the Prime player.
And now a pick.
Brian. And I think a false start being called here. So you do have to wait for the disc to be tapped in ultimate to resume in 4-on-4. All right, so Kin picking it up there on the far side. Great pressure all around from Quick Orange. Brian getting the disc. Hitting man. Robert's just taking a step off to stop those around throws into the end zone. And through some poaches, hitting that low release backhand to Hovstad. I think that is a hold from
I believe so.
Prime.
And one of the things I've noticed with Prime, they use a lot of IO breaks. They're not looking a lot for those arounds, but they're doing a lot of IO breaks.
And I think that's some contrasting style you'll see here from the Quebec side versus the Prime side. Quick Orange, really not scared to go over the top. Really not scared to go over the top. And it looks like Prime working down low beneath the marks.
Those two were coming in right at our feet there.
And for the viewers at home, we were worried for our lives there with the players coming at us on the chairs. But we're okay. Looks like they're
okay. They're just having a conversation about, was it a foul? I think it's a foul contest, back to thrower. The intensity on defense from both teams right now is forcing a lot of these types of calls.
So Le Chasseur to Valois. Just working it around the marks. Great grab there by Leclerc. And a nice IO flick. Hitting Valois. A little diving grab there, but a hold nonetheless.
The communication between, I think that was Leclerc and
Valois
qui a attrapé le disque dans l'end zone. La communication a été super parce que tout de suite, Valois a fait une feinte vers le côté open pour laisser l'espace pour un lance facile break.
Yes, and you see Prime starting off with a side stack, just isolating Ewan in the lane using these big bodies to get open. So Ewan working with Ma catching it just outside of the end zone. And it looks like some Quick Orange players poaching off, but Ewan still able to get open there.
Mm-hmm.
So
what are you seeing?
Yeah, we're 7 points into the game. Two contrasting styles, it seems like.
Yeah, I've noticed as well that Quick right now is forcing them backhand. And so Prime is taking advantage of a little bit of high release and IO backhand breaks. They're not using the width of the field like Quick does.
All right, so Leclerc here on the far side, high stall count, but Valois applying a release. Leclerc getting back open. Valois doing a lot of great work against this Brian matchup. So much pressure on both ends. Valois up called. And another IO shot for this Quick Orange side.
Encore une fois, c'est le même mouvement qu'on a vu avant entre Leclerc et Valois. Cette fois, on a vu avec Leclerc et La Bonté. C'est La Bonté, je pense, qui a attrapé le disque dans l'end zone. C'est set up your cut. What she's doing is setting up so that her thrower could have the easy. I'm saying easy. It's still very skillful to get that IO off.
All right. And if you blinked, that point was over.
Yeah, so sorry.
You know, Panda quickly working. You see Wong picking up that disc. They're using that same O-line. Wong to Ewan to Ma. Easy money for Prime Pandas.
Yeah.
All right, so Breton with a high release floaty backhand here. Valois going up, but feeling some contact from In Young Lim, and they're just having a conversation to see if it's a foul.
It was a gutsy choice as a throw. The two of them were pretty even. There was a lot of trust in his teammate to go up and be able to get that against a tight defense.
Yeah.
Especially, as you said, it was a bit of a floaty pass. Oftentimes that's going to work when you've got a tight defense that Prime is putting on against Quick. It's really tight. It's a tough call.
So it looks like it's going to be uncontested. Maybe Breton coming over there to let him know that he thinks it just should be a turnover. So Pandas with a chance to break now. In Young Lim working with Sai. back to Tian. These primes using these, typical 7 cuts that you might see outside, just going up line, dump swing.
Oh.
And Young Lim just overshooting Young there.
Just a bullet of a throw, so hard to get to.
All right, Valois picking up right away, going to La Chaussure. Taking off Breton there in the handler space. La Chaussure with a great OI flick over the defender there. That's what you want to see from Dietrich, giving your receiver the best chance to get it. And Miley's La Chaussure with a diving score there to get Quick Orange another point.
That was one of those dives that, did she need to do it? I don't know, but it was a saving dive to make sure, to be 100% sure that disc is staying in your hands, not to take a risk about bobbling it while you stay on your feet.
You go from a 75% catch trying to stay on your feet to a 100% catch hitting the ground sometimes. Just a little more secure. All right, so Prime, Sito Fung here on the far side. You're working with Ma in the isolation space, towing in to keep it in bounds. And smart mark by Ngo Dui to poach off just to get it. But nonetheless, Wang getting it over on the far side. But so much smart defense going here.
Yeah,
Ngo Dui.
Ngo Dui just there. She did something that we do a lot in 4-on-4, which is when you're close to the end zone, you pull your mark backwards because you're stopping the space for anyone else being able to get into that space for a cut. You don't necessarily do that on 7-on-7 outside, but you do here in 4-on-4 inside.
Yes, because with 4-on-4 in these tight spaces, it's so important to take space away from both sides. All right, Valois with the deep strike to La Chaussure, and just elevating over the likes of Sai to get the score for Quick Orange.
That's a tough one for Sai because she was there. It was just Le Chasseur had a chance to see the disc coming. Sai was looking at her looking at her mark to make sure that she wasn't going to get open.
And a bit of a false start here from UN, taking all the initiation cuts. Looks like Robert's ready to try and stop him. So UN getting the disc, working it quickly over to Ma. Ngo Dui playing some defense in the lane there, but Sito Fung able to get past her.
Yeah. So you see that Quick changed their mark to a flick mark. I think they've made a decision to try to stop some of those IO backhands. So now it's also an adjustment to now get your body into the right place. I think Ngo Dui right there, she did the right move to sort of poach for a second, but then that left that cut open in the open side.
Yes, and I think we're seeing Quick Orange adjust here to the play with some using the same O-lines here. So La Chaussure, Valois, staying on to play a lot of offense. And just a miscommunication between Leclerc and Valois. Prime with another chance to get a break. So Sito Fung here surveying the field, seeing what's going on, dumping back to Brian. Just directing traffic, telling her where her teammates want to go. Ying dropping it off to Tian. Back to Sito Fung. And that miscommunication there.
Just a slight communication, perhaps a touch of execution, but Quick with another opportunity.
So Quick Orange, another opportunity. Leclerc with a layout to save it, checking to see if Young is okay. And Leclerc tossing up a high stall count, but Sito Fung with the D. So Brian working for Prime, trying to get them that break that they've been wanting. Sito Fung working in the lane, over to Young. Looks like she's going straight up line, but the hand block by Leclerc.
Yeah.
A lot of back and forth on this point. We haven't seen this so much.
Yeah, Leclerc saw where she was going to throw and got in the way before the throw even came off. And Leclerc with another opportunity.
So Leclerc with another IO flick to Valois. Seeing Miley's in the space. And you know what? I don't think she was going that direction when the throw went up, but using all of her long frame to get that disc.
I think Maëlys at that, or Maëlys Le Chasseur at that point, she thought that disc was going for Leclerc. So she was about to clear out, and all of a sudden it's for her.
Yep. And it's great when you have teammates that can bail out your somewhat sketchy throws there.
Yeah. I would really like to see Quick go back to what they've done so well before, their dump and swing. They're forcing some of these throws up the line.
Speaking about that, so we have Yun working here for Pandas. Quick disc movement. You have Cito Fung over to Ma, but a travel being called, so the disc is going to have to go back. So again, in ultimate, you're not allowed running or moving with the disc. You got to set a pivot foot, and it looks like Couturier just letting Yun know that he thought the pivot foot wasn't set before he threw.
These conversations are so respectful between the juniors.
You know what? Athletic. I don't think that encompasses what that happened. You saw a high release backhand go up to Wong. He was able to turn, keep the toes dragged on, and extend to go catch the catch.
And keep his feet in.
Yeah, that's just skillful at that point. That's
absolutely. You can't. Yeah, well, I was just going to say you can't teach that. Some of it is just pure instinct.
Yes. All right. So Quick Orange working. A pick being called. Leclerc sending the disc back to Valois. So Valois.
Labonte coming in.
To Labonte. It looks like some clogging going on for Quick Orange. They haven't looked this pressed from when we saw them on stream, but they're working through all of that right now. Valois surveying the field. Breton providing a nice under-release valve there. Oh my goodness. Using all the extension there to get that IO backhand off to Valois.
That was a gorgeous backhand break from Breton to Valois. And I said before, I'd like to see Quick use their jump swing more. This last point, what I've noticed is that Prime is doing a great job of putting a push mark on, forcing that throw upfield instead of allowing them an easy dump swing.
All right, so Wang to Ewan, typical suspects for Panda. Cito Fung just outside the end zone here. Ewan getting the dump back. Another tall player that will probably be hard to mark and take away, right?
Yeah.
And a foul being called on Robert. Ewan saying Robert forced him out there while they were at the front of the end zone. And it looks like with the hand signals, that's thankful for the juniors who know them, saying that a pick was forced.
I think so. I'm not exactly sure, but what I've noticed with Yun is he does a lot of jump cuts, which sometimes seems like then when the defender has to he's going up and the defender's going straight into him.
And Wang just isolated at the front of the end zone.
And again, with Wong, we're seeing some athleticism. He was about to slip and fall there, and he managed to keep his feet under him and catch the disc. I thought it was going to be a turn, but he just pure athleticism to keep those feet under him.
All right, so on offense here for Quick Orange, we have Valois, La Chasseur, Ariano, and Leclerc. And Leclerc
great cut from Leclerc.
Great cut. So much separation there. And a bit of frantic cutting here from the Orange side. We haven't been seeing this for a while from them. What's the change been happening?
I think it's the defensive pressure, honestly. I think right now we're at a stall count, saying that it was stalled down. Leclerc is just disagreeing.
So it looks like the stall count being overturned, and it's okay for Ariano to keep the disc, I believe. Oh, never mind. It's probably going to Leclerc, and from a stall count, usually you go in from 8 on a contested stall. All right, so Valois getting the disc back to Ariano. La Chasseur. Cito Fung playing a lot of points out here, You see her on offense and defense for these difficult matchups. Oh, just a little bobble by Valois. Brian looking to capitalize, hitting that OI flick to Cito Fung, and that's a break for the Prime Pandas.
It is. I think that's their second break of the game.
Yep.
And I think Quick has had one break, so just Right now, Prime up by 1 break, I think.
Yeah,
or 2
so
breaks.
you mentioned the defensive pressure being ratcheted
Yeah,
up from Prime.
absolutely.
Like, what's going on with that?
Well, I think they're really fast. And I think right now, Quick is used to having a lot of space to work with. So Quick is getting stuck because they're feeling that pressure, doing 2 cuts at the same time rather than having the space that they're used to.
And N'Godui, patient, finding Couturier here. La Rochelle on the near side. And N'Godui calling for that disc. Really commanding the space here. You know, I don't believe N'Godui was looking for La Rochelle, but he got in the way of that inside shot, and that's why he came in so hot.
I think N'Godui was looking for Le Chasseur. In the last game, what we saw a lot is that throw coming from N'Godui to the far corner, and this time her own teammate got in the way.
So TN here working quickly for Prime Pandas. Over to Young. Couturier chasing TN on the mark, and hitting Sai at the front cone there. So Quick Orange looking just a bit unsettled here with the increased pressure from Prime. But one thing we saw in that OJ Cup semifinal is that they can work through a lot of defensive pressure.
Absolutely. And they might be down by 3 right now. I wouldn't say that they're not even remotely out of this game. I think pour Quick maintenant, c'est retour à ce qui connaît, ce qui fait bien, ce qui font bien.
All right, so La Chassière working here with Breton, clearing out of the handler space. So up to Valois.
Back to Breton.
A little quick give and go between Valois and Breton. La Chassière getting involved on the more of the break side here. And La Chassière, that eye contact, pointing and hitting Valois on the break side, telling him exactly where she wanted him to go.
Yeah, and what Quick did really well there, is leaving that space open. What they have been doing a little bit more this game than our previous game that we saw them was they're clogging the lanes a bit more. That was that was a good example of leaving the space.
All right, so Wang to Yuan, something we've said before, and we're probably going to keep seeing it. Over to Ma. And just a bit of an around flick, the mark letting the defender go down there.
Yeah, it just was an easy, smooth point for Prime in that option. So we're back to our foursome of.
And it looks like Prime capitalizing there, being able to get that last hold in before the halftime horn.
Yeah. I think as we were talking about before, both teams have a real energy, excitement, intensity in their play. At the moment, Prime is playing a little cleaner. I think ce qu'on a vu avec Quick, le premier match pendant la semi-finale, ils ont joué très clean, utilisé l'espace. Mais je ne sais pas s'ils jouent un peu frantique, un peu plus stressé, pour 2 cuts en même temps, au lieu de 1 à la fois, laisser l'espace pour leur break. Their breaks are some of their strengths. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing, like you mentioned, I think the biggest difference was the defensive pressure. Quick Orange, we know they can move the disc well. We know they can hit those inside shots, some of those hammer shots. But when your defender is always on your back, that makes throwing and executing those throws way harder. The windows are so much smaller. And I think Panda, over time, has ratcheted up the defensive pressure with their athleticism, but also smarts on defense, making it very hard on every throw for Quick Orange to make those smarter choices.
Yeah. Have you seen any standout players?
Standout players, honestly, someone, obviously, Maëlys Lachassière has been pressing us on the Quick Orange side, but I really enjoyed the smooth and calm play from Valois. You know, he's under a lot of pressure on that Quick Orange side. And from the Prime side, so many standout players, but Sito Fung, I appreciate her ability to play multiple points, and she clearly has a big role on this team, and they're relying on her for a lot. And you know what? Yuan and Wang have been working very steadily on this O-line. Their O points have been a lot shorter than Quick Orange's O points, and it's because of those players' abilities to just get open in the lane, Wang hitting break throws. Yes.
I have to agree, and I think it's really hard to choose c'est vraiment difficile de cibler un joueur ou une joueuse au-dessus de un autre. Mais c'est clair que les deux équipes, the two teams rely a lot on certain players to control the movement of the disc.
All right.
I have to say I've been very impressed with Wong and his athleticism.
Pull going out of bounds here. I believe Wong will bring it up to where the pull first hit the ground. And Breton there on the mark there now. Another ISO UN in the lane, working over to Ma. UN there in the middle of the field. Over to Sito Feng and Le Chasseur, trying there.
Not sure if that was a mix-up in terms of the mark, which direction they were marking. So I saw Leclerc was marking Flick, and then Valois was marking back. I don't know.
It just looked like this was going so fast on the prime side.
It's possible.
Yeah, so it looked like she couldn't set her mark up, but I believe it was a flick force there coming into the camera angle. All right, so Ngo Dui picking up the disc, and Couturier with the initiating cut, but Godin finding Ngo Dui. La Rochelle. Ngo Dui working hard.
That was a lot of contact. I'd be really surprised if there was no foul call on this, and I'd be a bit surprised if it's not contested. So it is foul, non-contest.
I think that's one of those plays. If we were outdoors on a sevens field with observers, there would be a card added. Very athletic play. No one's taking that away from Sai, but you have to be safer. You have to have more body control because you can't just send your opponents flying every time you want to make a bid on the disc, right?
Especially, they're going to be playing on the same team soon. They want them healthy.
Yeah, so turnover, unfortunately, for Quick Orange. Brian working quickly over there to Young, and then Brian getting the disc and spiking it out of bounds there. So that Panda side getting very, very excited.
Yeah, and now it's going to be, I can imagine the coach over there for Quick trying to keep the energy and the focus up for his team. Don't get down. You're still in this game. Play each point one at a time, each battle one at a time.
Yes, a lot of times when you see that you're down by 5 points, you're like, oh my gosh, we're down by 5. But you do still need to score a point to, be down by less. All right, so Valois over to Le Chasseur. Pick being called between Man and Hovstad. All right, Leclerc getting open there on Hovstad. Ariano working there on Man in downfield. And Le Chasseur trying to toe that in. Quick Orange will probably look to get it, dump and swing out of the end zone. And Ariano hitting Le Chasseur there. Some quick disc movement to Valois and easy lefty backhand to Leclerc.
Yeah. You mentioned it earlier just at the halftime about the smooth movement of Valois. He's been a quarterback of that line and able to sort of like bring in the disc and maintain a sort of maturity in his choices and his movement and his throws that far exceeds his age.
Definitely now. And so Panda back on the offense. So Wong hitting Yuen. It's basically their initiation play. And, if Quick Orange hasn't found a way to stop it, then why stop using it?
Yeah.
Yuen, the disc back in the middle of the field. Travel being called on the mark by Robert. So travel's now it doesn't have to result in a stoppage. You can just call travel, point to where you want that disc to be. And Sito Feng looking like she thought she had to toe the line there, but very, very difficult catch that required from her.
Absolutely. And now Quick with a chance to take back one of the breaks.
And Le Chasseur laying it out after the tip disc there from Ngo Dui. But Wong with a massive Leo D there. Back and forth from both teams. And UN tapping it in. And you saw a bit of frustration there from Robert.
A little bit, I think. And, the sort of lackadaisical, upside down, like underhand throw for the score. I think something like that can get into the mind of another player. Like, oh, it's just too easy. I've got to. Anyways, I think this is a moment where Quebec quick needs to again get back their focus.
All right, so Leclerc receiving the pass from Breton. Pick being called. So as players get more fatigued, as it gets more frantic, you do see more picks being called, usually just because of now players cutting each other off and getting a little bit antsy in the cuts.
But it's a reminder that we're playing, that each team is playing as a team instead of individuals. When we get tired, when there's a desire to win, sometimes you're like, what can I do? I need to get in there. I need to do this. I need to do this. Sometimes I need to create space. I need to clear out.
And you saw that there are two players cutting right at Le Chasseur. But Breton getting this nonetheless. Le Chasseur receiving the next pass. So Valois, Leclerc slashing across. Valois looking break side. Over now to Breton, and then Le Chasseur in the middle of the field. A bit of that quick orange flow being stifled right now, but Hammer going up. But
there's a foul call in the end zone between Valois and Tien. So the two players in the end zone had stopped moving completely before Le Chasseur even realized a call had been made.
So if a pick happened, then that +1 continues. So it would be turnover because it's a foul, and it looks like it's contested. It's going back to the thrower.
Exactly. Everybody gets a chance to breathe. It's been on zero, non-contested.
All right, in on zero, Le Chasseur with the disc. Le Chasseur working well with Breton back in the backfield. Valois receiving the disc. Hot pressure from Tien. Leclerc just open up at the front of the end zone here. Quick Orange will probably have to dump it out. Can't force things too much. But, I say that, and Lesher hops it in for another goal for a Quick Orange.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I think I would have liked to see a dump. At the same time, trusting La Chasseur to use her body to sort of muscle her way in there. She had better body position. She had body position where her defense would have to foul her a lot to get a defense on that. And Leclerc just putting like a little pass that's catchable. It's not easy, those throws, those close to the close cuts throws.
And it looks like a false start being called here. So Ewan going to go back. So Robert's there in the lane. Wong with an inside, a little too low for Ma. So Quick Orange with their first break chance in a while. La Rochelle hitting Robert's on the far side. Ngo Dui here. Ngo Dui here trying to communicate with her fakes. Robert's with a contested catch there. Lots of contact from Ewan. Ngo Dui, high stall count. Wish La Rochelle. And I believe it was a goal.
The sideline's calling for a goal. The people on the field are still talking about it. We'll wait and see what they work out together.
And just looking at the sideline, looking at everybody on the sideline.
Trying to look for whether or not they're going to consult with the people in the end zone who had a vision of the field.
And you see the Ninjak side telling them that it's a goal. Everyone holding up their hands. And you know what? That's kind of the power of the sport there. We all want the correct call to be made.
Absolutely. Nobody's playing this game to cheat. That would certainly go against our spirit of the game. That is like a hallmark of Ultimate Frisbee.
All right, so it looks like same O-line here for Prime Pandas. Typical subsection: Juan, Ewan, Sito, Fung, and Ma working over here. Oh, and a layout D by Le Chasseur on Sito Fung. That's been a fun matchup all game long.
And a layout D
right,
exactly in front of our photographer.
Yeah, Breton coming in quickly. And inside flick going awry to Leclerc. And Prime Pandas capitalizing quickly, but Valois calling a foul there on Yuen.
No, following a
travel,
I believe.
sorry.
Yuen has been remarkable with the first cut after the start of every play.
And just making sure they know where each player has to be at the start.
Coach telling him, keep it chill from the sideline.
So Breton calling a pick there on Wong. He had to go, through the he has to go through the two female matching players there to get to the end zone.
Good clarification of the rule from the sideline.
All right, so Prime Pandas back on offense here. Yuen over to Ma. Yuen kind of patrolling the backfield here. Ma having the disc in the middle.
Tight defense from Quick.
And just a bit of a forced throw there from Yuen going around. Ma made a great effort to try to grab that disc and tow it in, but just a little too far.
Yeah,
so,
and that forced throw is because of the pressure on defense from Quick.
So Breton getting the disc around to Leclerc. Hitting Valois here. Le Chasseur. Another inside flick. Just a little too far for Leclerc there.
Yeah, it was a good look, and Leclerc was going that way. I think it was just a second too soon. Let's see if Quick can get this D back once again.
All right, Wong picking up. Hitting Ma here on this near side. And another D from La Chasseur. Sito Fung trying to tell her teammates, I was not open. You don't have to throw to me every time.
The reaction from Sito Fung was just perfect.
Breton hitting a difficult inside backhand to Leclerc. Seeing Elise on this close, Le Chasseur on this close side. Valois and Breton working there in the backfield together. You can just, start to see the fatigue in both of these teams. A lot of walking cuts here.
There are.
And
just a communication and an overthrow at the same time. And a little bit of frustration, hands on the hips from Le Chasseur. I don't think it's frustration at anyone in particular. Maybe at herself. I hope not. She's been playing amazing.
All right.
It's just a long point.
So Wong picking up the disc here now. Yuen isolated in the lane with Valois. And Yuen with the high release lefty backhand to Wong in the end zone. So long point there. The Prime Pandas getting that hold.
Losing those long battled points are so hard to lose. They're so, when you win them, oh my God, that's a motivational for your whole team. And coming off one of those points, you're like, oh, damn it, I really wanted it. Darn it. I mean.
Yeah, so bit of a false start here again. Ngo Dui having the disc here for the Quick Orange side. And everyone ran at her at the same time. And so Ngo Dui going long to La Chasseur. A bidding attempt, but just bouncing out of her hand.
That was a huge effort from Naomi La Chasseur. It was a good look. Ngo Dui, she didn't have anything in front of her. It was a good high stall look.
All right, so Brian here looking at Sai in the end zone and just a bit behind her. So she tried to turn around to make the adjustment, but bouncing out of her hands.
Absolutely. And the athleticism, again, impressive, just slightly too far behind her.
All right. Roberts was a great adjustment to get that disc up. And Ngo Dui here using her face to tell her teammates that she needs something else from them. Working quickly with the disc. La Rochelle in the middle of the field. Around to Roberts, back to Ngo Dui. And almost making that adjustment to throw just a bit too far.
Yeah, just slightly too far. But what I really loved about that point from Quick was that amount of space, They were using it. They were swinging it back and forth. They were creating opportunities for themselves. And Prime was doing a good job of poaching here and there, like for half a second.
All right, so here we have Young with the disc. La Chaussure taking a step off of the mark to take away that space. And La Rochelle doing a great job of the mark trying to stop that around, but Brian still making it out to Tien.
We see the momentum right now with Prime. We see the energy between the two sides, the body language of both teams. It's not the same right now. What would you, if you were coaching Quick, what would you want to tell them?
You know what? I think a lot of times when you get in these moments, it's all about like where we are right now. And, you know, you might be sad because you might be like, oh, I'm not going to win this game. But remember what the point of this is. This is development for their outdoor 7 season, right? Just have more perspective. You're going to learn so much from playing against players. You don't always get these tight matchups. And just as we were talking there, we had La Chaussure, trying an around flick to Breton over there and just a bit too much pressure to catch it.
Some players we haven't seen from Prime for a while.
Yeah, so Hofstad out here with the disc. Man working with Enyang Lim around. La Chaussure stopping those cuts from Kin. Back to Man around to Hofstad.
Nice grab from Hofstad.
And great footwork there by Kin in the end zone, beating La Chaussure. You know, like you said, those fresh legs coming at this quick orange line that's been playing a lot here.
So what do you think with a finals like this? Would you want to be calling lines?
You know, I think you start to play your depth here because, you know, these junior players are going to get experience regardless. And maybe if it comes a little closer, you start to tighten lines again. But for now, let's just start rolling, getting everybody in, getting them experience in the finals because it's different than just pool play matches they had yesterday.
Absolutely.
And a nice little layout D there by Sai on Godin.
Yeah, and Godin taking a second. Was that a foul? Was it not? Was I going to get it? It's that you can see that sort of hesitation as you're walking away. Do I call it?
So Brian here picking up the disc and just bouncing out of the hands of Tien. So La Rochelle, who was a standout cutter in our semifinal matchup against OJ Cup, picking up the disc here for a quick orange.
Yeah, also a standout handler. He's another one of those ones who's able to sort of control the flow of the play.
Finding La Chaussure. And Couturier
nice
getting open under. And La Chaussure continuing into the end zone. That's just a great score there.
That was a great sequence from Quick right there. Right from the very start with La Rochelle with the disc over to, I think it was Roberge.
Yep.
And then the long to La Chaussure in the end zone. It was just a really nice sequence from a nice team play. The space was open again, right?
Yeah. All right. So Wong picking up this. Ariano on the mark, seeing Ewan in the lane again. Very tough offensive player to stop. So we have Ewan keeping the toes in there. And that is Ma getting open at the front cone with the twinkle toes to keep it in as well.
Both teams do a remarkable. I don't know if you've noticed this, but both teams seem to like to score in the corners. No one's scoring in the middle of the end zone. That speaks a lot to the defensive pressure, and the fact that they can score in these tight spaces speaks a lot to the precision in their throws.
Yeah, you can see it just down the line. All right. We have Engo Dwi picking up the disc for quick orange. And what are some things you'd like quick orange to be able to focus on toward the end of this game?
Just score. I think I want them to leave this game feeling proud of how they played.
Yeah. And the score may not always reflect that, but the effort will. Engo Dwi hitting La Rochelle here in the back. Over to Robert. Seeing Engo Dwi and La Rochelle trying to work around and still finding up at the front cone. We don't know if he was in or not yet. Called not in. And La Rochelle with the around flick to La Chaussure. But man coming in to break it up.
It was a good choice. Le Chasseur was open. The defense from Prime, his timing was just well done.
And also very telegraphed there. So very telegraphed there, allowing a defender like Mann to come in and poach. And a bit of a...
So the discussion, there was a pick call. Now the question is, where does the disc go? It's going back to Mann because it didn't affect, the pick didn't affect that cut in.
All right, Kin with the disc here on the close side. Mann in the middle of the field. Working it to Hofstad. In Young Lim trying to get the disc, but La Rochelle breaking up the play there. And a foul called. And
there's a foul, non-contested call. And Yang Ling saying that he was being pushed out to be able to get it, and no contest from La Chapelle.
Great spirit by both sides here.
Exactly.
All right, so In Young Lim here with the disc for Prime Pandas to try to widen the gap. Working to Mann. Lots of pressure there on the mark from Roberge. Over to Hofstad. La Chasseur shutting the door there on the mark. You see possession being yelled from the Prime Panda side, but that's just not what happened. And La Rochelle trying to toe it in.
Now, did he toe the line in or no?
And just looks a little out of bounds.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a time when I would consult those people down in that corner.
And great spirit by La Rochelle to, it looks like he thought he was out. But they're saying just contest it because it's too close.
Fair enough. Back to the thrower.
As long as both teams agree.
Yep.
N'Godui dishing off to La Rochelle. Some give and goes here. We have N'Godui isolated in the end zone. And La Chasseur catching the disc out of bounds.
A little frustration, I think.
Out of bounds call there. Just a focus error.
I think so. And I don't know. Just right now, play tight. Get on your D. Nice height from Lynn.
All right. Hofstad here with the disc now for Prime Pandas. Working with In Young Lim. In Young Lim trying to get Mann to cycle up line. You know, even late in this game, you see the Quick Orange side not giving up, still putting in a lot of pressure on defense.
Absolutely. No, there's clear that every point, they're going to fight through every point. There's no giving up. As you see, clearly a hand block right there.
Yes, great mark there from N'Godui. And we'll see her isolated in the end zone. And N'Godui there with the spike on Prime Panda.
I think that's the emotion coming out with that. It's like they wanted that point so badly. They fought every second of that point. And I think that Quick is a little less used to playing with as much contact as Prime Pandas are bringing to this game.
Yes. And that is the end of the game. You see the hug there from Sido Fung and La Chasseur. You know, you're seeing the top junior players in this country, right? The final was 1913, but you're seeing the future of the standouts.
That's the future of Ultimate we're just watching right there. And the ability to play with maturity, the ability to play with emotion, the ability to play through some of the challenge of playing against a team the same level as you. And both teams, honestly, I think it was an extremely well-fought battle. Congratulations, Prime, for bringing it out. And I hope and Quick has nothing to be ashamed of. This was a brilliant game.
Yes, this is Quick Orange. Not their first time playing 4-on-4, but the first foray into this on Canadian Junior 4-on-4 Championship. Yep. So welcome to the show here, coming in second. But you did lose to the defending champions in Prime Panda out of British Columbia. Even though they don't get to play indoor fours often, you can tell they're so skilled players.
Oh, and the connections between these players. You can see the team chemistry, a team chemistry that we're going to see continue into Team Canada. And I'm looking forward to watching them play well into the future.
All right, quick break over here, and then we will get the open finals between Davy Sitters from Ottawa and Ninjaks from
Montreal.